Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Orange Juice News and Notes from around the world of Insoles. I am your host, Owen Kenoy, and back with us we have my mom, Marsha Kenoy. How are you?
I'm good. Glad to be back on land after spending a couple weeks on a boat.
That's right.
Woo! And I am not a boater, but I did it.
I meant to address you and say, "How are you, sailor?"
Thus my hat. I'm repping the hat where I was at. The
Awesome.
BVI. Yeah. It was
Yeah. So,
I am glad to be on land. You forget when you're on a boat for 2 weeks that you can't just get up and get your steps in. You just can't. Like you have to swim to your steps. Like you're leaving the boat, you're swimming. You're doing a little dinghy. It's like a whole process to get the hell off the boat to get some steps in. But anyway, it was a lot of
amen.
fun. Saw a lot of great fish. Saw octopus. I swam with stingrays, swam with uh like the most amazing fish. Like I could go on and on about the fish, the coral, um, all that kind of fun stuff. I have a friend who's really good at spotting things underwater, so I just followed her. She would point, I would see these little eyes looking at me. She'd be like, "Boop, boop, boop." I'm like, "Oh, octopus. Oh, hi." Like a lot of fun, but it's definitely a trip of a lifetime. I highly recommend doing it, going island to island down there with the we also had a captain, so we weren't trying to wing it anymore. It was really lovely. So, yeah. Thanks, Owen.
Awesome. Well,
What have you
welcome
been
back.
doing? Thank you.
Um, Here on home soil, I mean, summertime is here. School is out. They just finished up, at least in my neighborhood, this past weekend. So we've been hitting the pool. Yesterday we were at the beach for a little photo shoot, but we've really been getting out and having a good time. And also, very special in the United States, we are hosting the World Cup, which kicks off this week, the men's FIFA World Cup. So
Yeah.
best of luck to Team USA. They got a pretty favorable draw in the first, or excuse me, in the group stage. So hopefully they can advance out, and anything from there is gravy, in my opinion. But it is super fun. We are happy to be hosting people from around the world.
Well, I thought you were gonna talk about your NASCAR race on Sunday, but
That too.
didn't
Yeah.
you go
And
to
then we did,
NASCAR? Yeah, in
yeah,
Michigan?
we
Yeah.
did NASCAR on Sunday, and luckily, so I went with a couple buddies and my brother Tom, and we all had our orange insoles in. So as we were having to hike it around the track, and you can bring your own cooler too. So hiking around the track with your cooler, which was pretty sweet. You can bring food and beverage and whatever you want. Um,
That is nice.
but it was heavy and it was hot, and we were walking long distances. So I was happy to have orange insoles. Shout out
Yeah,
in my
and who
shoes.
won the race? I'm just curious.
Danny Hamlin.
Okay.
So Denny for the
Jordan's,
second week in a
kid.
row.
Is that
Yep.
Jordan's
No,
driver?
so Denny owns, the 2311 Racing Group with Michael Jordan, but
Michael Jordan,
he's
yeah.
a separate driver from that group. He's number
Okay.
11, but he's a separate driver, so,
Okay, sorry.
um,
Fun.
yeah,
Owen grew up at that track. I used to take him all the time for work,
yeah, it was
but
it was good to make it back, but as we're chit-chatting about all of this, different stuff going on. Today, we're bringing you an episode about what your shoes say about you. So, think about your favorite shoes. We're probably going to cover them or something pretty close to them, and just kind of go with like the stereotypes that go along with these people. And they're all obviously committed folks and whatnot to what they're doing, and we just want to talk about maybe a few things to be aware of when you're wearing your shoes and that sort of thing as well. But we thought it'd just be kind of like a different twist on how to bring you guys some new information.
well, I feel like it's something I always taught you kids growing up is like, don't judge people by their clothing. But this is kind of a fun twist today to talk about, and as I think about my friends and the different shoes they wear and coworkers or spouse. And there is personality involved with what people choose. And we do have a shoe store. So we do see how people pick things and that kind of thing. But, in general, when people pick things, they start with feel and fit and color and cost and brand reputation. But this is a little different today. We're going to talk about the different folks who wear those shoes every day and kind of, some of the strengths and blind spots that they have in those certain professions with those shoes. So with that, Owen, I think we're starting out with the work boot person.
Yeah, that's right. So if your favorite pair of shoes is your work boots, this is going to say a few things about you. Usually it means you're dependable, you work hard, you take pride in your craft and showing up on time. But also because you're working hard, you tend to deal with some discomfort. And it's kind of part of the job, so to speak, or oftentimes it's, just part of working on your feet and being a blue collar worker in your work boots. You like to stay loyal typically to a specific brand of work boot. You usually know what works best for you and tend to replace them about every election cycle. So that's every 4 to 8 years and whatnot. But the point is, you're buying a quality product. It lasts a long time. It is comfortable. And it's something that you can go to work in and feel good about.
Well, I think too that they're just the the person with the work boot, what I've heard them tell me is that, listen, it took a long time to get this boot to fit around my foot. Like they,
Yep.
break it in. They're all into, I almost feel like it's kind of like the cowboy boot person as well, but they're all about like, this took time and they don't realize that it does break down over time as well. And there's one thing I'm realizing though, and this is just working with contractors those are the people I see in work boots that I deal with daily is contractors. And one thing they've been sharing with me is there's just so many commercials now for the Good Feet store, or there's this whole like on Saturday or Sunday, it's like an hour, 3/4 insole episode on why you need insoles for your feet and all that. So I do think in this world, they're becoming more aware that their shoe is breaking down and you gotta change it out, and that it's not just because 'cause you've worked hard out long hours and you're standing on concrete all day or you've got the long shift and it's just like, "I'm going to be in pain because that's what I'm up against in my world." Um, but I think it's just these commercials and stuff are starting to make people think a little bit. But I applaud them. 'Em, they're definitely hard workers. People in work boots, you're real. You're working on concrete, you're working factory hours, you're grinding. You are the backbone of what good hard work really is. It physically hard work is on your body. So tough people. When I
Yeah,
see work boots, I think tough people.
definitely tough. But there's a line between like, being tough and being smart, I guess, is maybe what I'm thinking, because it is hard what you do, but you don't have to necessarily live through all of that. There are some simple things you can do, and we've actually done a full episode on work boots and that sort of thing as well. So if you're curious, definitely refer to that. But just investing in a good pair of work boots, which we're assuming in this case you have, is great. But also don't forget that there are insoles that you can put in the work boots too. They're going to give you all sorts of extra support.
And make them
Um,
last longer.
and they're gonna last longer as
Extend your
well.
life a little longer on the work boot, but not till the next election. Just not that far.
Yeah, you're gonna have to replace them a little more often than that, but, really with the insoles, you're gonna feel a lot more comfortable. Even just doing, like, some basic stretching will really help, and resting when you can as well. So, like I said, definitely check that podcast out if you're more interested, but that's typically, your work boot person or folks who are, wearing their work boots each day.
Now we're up for what we think we know, the runner.
Yeah,
Only
that's
because we
right.
have a running store. And I
Hey.
used to run, and this is the jealousy that kicks in because I've had 2 surgeries recently on my knees, and I can't run anymore, and it's so frustrating, but the runner, Owen, what about the runner?
Yeah,
The
so
running shoe we see.
if you're wearing running shoes, we're assuming that you probably have multiple pairs, and you love to kind of try out different ones, and track exactly how they go, but also the number of miles you're putting on them. We're just assuming that you are a competitor, um, pretty opinionated about your brands you like. You may be a Brooks faithful or an Asics faithful or a Hoka faithful or whatever else, right? New Balance faithful and so on and so forth. Everyone has their own different strengths and whatnot, but along with that, you're typically disciplined, goal oriented, consistent. You might be on your Strava app tracking your miles every single day, and also your time with that as well. But really, people that are just active and competitive.
You know what's interesting is I'll see someone in, like, a high-end running shoe, and you start thinking, "Oh, they're a runner, da da da." But I think what throws me off now with the running community is that ever since like COVID, I think it's just okay for all like these lifestyle shoes, like athletic leisure, like everyone's wearing these type of shoes. And even the retro running shoes are coming back. I don't know if you know that, Owen, like that's a big trend going on in the running community. But it's interesting because now I'm like, gosh, I don't even know who the runners are because everyone's using those type of shoes. And you see Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, Asics, like you're mentioning. Everyone's just wearing them as a lifestyle shoe as well. But if you are the true runner, to your point, Owen, very dedicated, they're very knowledgeable. Any new tweaks that come out and their new Brooks, addiction, new light, 2027 that's coming out. It is interesting how they're very into the detail. They track everything, they track their miles, they're very disciplined in their regiment program. I will say, when I was running half marathons, I was very disciplined in the days I ran and making sure I got my miles in. I didn't always do the best time, but I knew I had to push my body to get those miles done for the big days. But it's interesting. Runners are, I mean, to be able to go run, some of these people, I mean, I don't know if you've heard of, what is it called? The ultra runner or whatever. They run like, was it 75 miles straight or some crazy? A friend of
Hmm.
mine's
The ultra
son,
marathons.
Matthew Liberto, does it. It's crazy. Like, that's a lot of running. And we're in that world. And I just can't imagine, like, runners have a certain kind of mindset. It is a very admirable mindset and
Yeah, and
discipline.
one of the questions I would get a lot when working at the running store is like, "Hey, what can I do for this ache or pain?" And they're focusing on the shoes, and typically those are pretty dialed in. A lot of runners will even add insoles to their shoes as well, and incorporate that to the process. But really, sometimes the answer isn't exactly what they want to hear. Is just like resting and taking time to recover and peeling back the miles where possible, and giving your body a break more than anything. And, there are other things that are often neglected too, like stretching and strengthening, which I've already alluded to. But yeah, these people overall, it's important just to keep in mind, like, hey, it's okay to take care of your body, and maybe one step back is going to be two steps forward in my fitness journey or just my running journey.
So then there's the extreme runner or the extreme person, and a lot of runners do this too, is the barefoot shoe person.
I feel like
So
if you see a barefoot shoe person, that's how you know they're a runner. That's what I was thinking earlier, but I didn't want to ruin it. But I feel like
that's
that's like the real key. Go ahead.
so back, oh my gosh, I'm dating myself, but like maybe 15 year no, wait, no, it's gotta be, yeah, probably 15 years ago. Anyway, there's this brand Five Fingers. It exists today, but it was the first time your dad brought me a pair of home,
The
and they're
toe
pink
shoes.
toe shoes, yeah. They're pink and they're so cute. I was like, "These are so cute." So I put them on. I go to Costco, or Sam's Club, wherever I was at the time, but the big depart like going up and down, up and down. I'm like, "Oh, these are awesome." And they have a nice rubber base, so you're not hitting the ground, but you're basically using your foot the whole time, the strength. You would know the next day I could not walk because you use every muscle up your calf, every muscle in your foot. It's truly a foot strengthened concept. And, I don't mind it, but you definitely have to be aware of it. And I don't really go on TikTok and stuff like that, but a video came in my feed yesterday, and it was a lady, reminds me of one of our good customers, one of our shoe stores that we have. This I'm a shoe store in Indiana. This lady looked just like our customer there, and she was going on and on how about barefoot and how it can naturally strengthen. Showed all the foots with the bunions, aka my foot, probably look like in the picture, but just how all that natural strengthening can be so good, that natural movement for your foot. What do you say about it, Owen?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a time and place for it, and a lot of the times when you do see these people wearing the foot strengthening shoes, like, it happens to be something that they've mapped out, and, like, this is the time they're choosing to strengthen their feet. Like, for example, when I worked at Playmakers, some people would wear those, for part of their shift, or if they had, like, a 3-hour shift working on the sales floor, they would choose to wear it during that time as like a foot strengthening exercise, but that's exactly what it can be, is an exercise. So it is fun. The shoes do feel really nice on the foot too. Just make sure that you're understanding kind of the flip side, where it's like, if I am doing activities that need more support, maybe I should consider something else.
You know what's interesting, Owen? This is what I work out in.
Yeah, the grip socks.
The grip socks. That's all I work out in my classes that I happen to take, whether it's Pilates or Pure Barre classes, is the grip sock. And I tell you, all the exercise, I really think that's why my calves are so strong. I don't go barefoot like this all day long. I only do it during the workout. But I do feel like, I have very strong feet and base because of my workout classes every day. They're only 50 minutes, but it's 50 minutes of focusing straight on the strengthening of my feet. We go up and down, rising with our toes, all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of both, right? Barefoot type shoe or the grippy socks. The concept is, minimalist shoes.
Well said. Next one, a growing category is like the comfort shoe person, or someone wearing like your Hokas or your Brooks or your Asics out and about, or like your high cushion Nikes. My friend has a pair of high cushion Nikes right now, and then my father-in-law came over and he had a pair of high cushion Nikes, the Bomero. They did like a whole remake, and now it's like their maximum cushion shoe. But we've talked about these types of shoes in the past, like the Hoka's and whatnot. Hoka's kind of the one who strictly does the maximum cushioning, so that's why it gets pointed to. But these people are realistically practical. They want to make sure they're comfortable in whatever they're doing, whether it's work or going to an event or whatever it may be, working in the yard. They know what hurts and they kind of know what works and what to avoid and that sort of thing. So when I talk about my friend wearing the maximum cushion Nikes, for example, a year or so ago, he tore his Achilles, which is obviously a very intense rehab process. So he kind of knows what to do, what not to do, when to take it easy. He actually came to the racetrack with us, and when we were going up the steep grade of the track to get back on, because we were on the track pre-race, he's like, "Guys, I might need some help or whatever." So he kind of knows what works and what doesn't work and that sort of thing. And what's cool is, and Marshall will tell you that they're becoming a lot more popular just to see people wearing out and about, right?
Well, I think the thing with, that I actually was in the store yesterday looking at the wall, and every single shoe brand now has a type of shoe in this capacity that you're talking about after the Hoka. So On has it. Like, I was just Nike, all of them. And the thing with Nike, which is so crazy for people who are like in their 50s and on, they just think Nike is the young, it makes them look young and hip. And I always think Nike's like not always the best when it comes to the comfort shoe, which is surprising me that even Nike's stepping back to be a comfort shoe. That's never been their trend or their concept. But I will say Hoka's getting hurt because everybody's coming after him right now. And but for me, I'm still in the I don't care if it's comfort, I'm still in kind of the look of the shoe. As long, I mean, it fits well, and then I'm picking color and the look and all that. But I also know my friends who are in their 60s and my mother-in-law and my mom in her 70s, they are now going, all right, I need to get comfort. I need to go to a good fit foot store with like ours at Playmakers. I need to go get fitted in the process. I need to slow down and I need to get the fit right first on what's going to make me feel good every day. Our foot is breaking down when you get older. It's just not worth not feeling good. Like, we have enough aches and pains about probably shoulder replacement or a hip like, you just need to, get into the comfort shoe, but they're paying attention to it. A lot of companies weren't paying attention to what is a comfort shoe and what does the 50, 60-year-old need, and it's kinda neat that they're actually addressing it now, and it's cool and okay to address it, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, for a while it was like, "Hey, no, I need a pair of plain black shoes or plain white shoes, and that's what I would like, and if you don't have that, I'm not interested in all these colors." But yeah, it's good to see people branching out and prioritizing comfort like you said. But
Yeah.
kinda
Yeah,
on the flip
so
side with I'd always think about your previous career and when you had to dress to the nines, but, tell us about the next one.
well, fashion first, people. Here we go. All about the heels. Could be about a lot of things, actually. I think about some of your friends, Owen, who had these shoe fetishes, like all the different color shoes, the trend. And now, like I said before, that whole retro running shoes coming back. Like people are just all about the look and that. And I will say, I do love shoes, but in my day, like Owen was referencing, I was in the corporate world my whole life until I retired 7 years ago from that, just to take over Orange Insoles and focus on this company. And, it was something, but, you just had to play the role, but I tell you, I wore all the high heels, I always wore suits. This is all pre-COVID, by the way. COVID really broke away from saying, "It's okay, can't wear,"
Mhm.
you're home now, you don't wear heels, and then you realize, "Wow, my feet feel so much better, why am I wearing these damn heels?" However, when weddings happen and all this, you do want those heels, you want that shoe to carry you, so I feel like the fashion first person is telling your personality, like letting you pick your whole outfit and putting it together. There is a lot of fun around that, and there's a lot of closet coaches and different folks making it fun, if that makes any sense. But I will say, I had this grandmother, 109, always wore heels. It's Owen's great grandmother, always wore heels. Wore them with no pain. I mean, I'd be limping by the end of the night. That girl could still rock her shoe. You take the shoe off, you didn't wanna see that foot. It was all bent up, all nasty, but it was the worst. But you know what? Fashion was priority to her. She didn't care. She always wore a fancy hat, and she always wore her fancy shoes. Do you remember that, Owen?
Yeah, I do. I think about her, but then also just like even not to gloss over like men's dress shoes as well are super uncomfortable, or even like your Converse or Chuck Taylors or whatever shoes you're wearing, kind of like the more fashionable shoes. The reality is they're not built with comfort and support in mind. So if you're going to be standing for multiple hours or walking a fair distance, they just haven't prioritized the comfort side. So that's where there are a few things you can do if you're a fashion first person. In the first and foremost is just trying to focus on fit as much as possible. So if there is maybe a specific style that's just like super narrow or pointed and doesn't fit your foot appropriately, maybe just pivot to something that's even a little more comfortable or fitting a little bit better in the better shape of your foot. Sometimes what I do personally is even go like a half size to a full size up just to give your foot more room. Obviously, it just depends. Like high heels, that's a lot more difficult to do something with, but with like dress shoes and other shoes, just sizing up really helps. And then you can add insoles. So we talked about in the past the orange light insole, which will go in any of these shoes. Realistically, the high heels, the flats, the Chuck Taylors, but then also some of them we've seen other people get like our more supportive insoles, the 3/4 length, or even the orange sport into like their fashion first footwear. But yeah, you can have your preferences and prioritize fashion, but just do yourself a favor by at least making sure you're doing everything you can on the fit side of things.
You actually brought up a really good point. Just like running shoes, how we go up a half a size to leave room in that toe box for the pounding when you're running. I've been doing that with dress shoes when it comes to heels because if a shoe is pointed in the front point of a high heel, going up that half a size just gives you that more of that space. And then you can put an orange light in the back to keep your heel anchored, and you can make it at least till midnight at a good wedding party. And then the other thing for ladies is they've got this the platform shoes now. It's a high heel, but the entire shoe is high, going up a few inches. So really your foot is in a pretty flat base, but you're in this high heel. And my gosh, I mean, they didn't just launch that. That's been around a while, but that has saved me big time to have the fashion look, but with a good solid platform. So my foot isn't anchored up like a high heel, which puts all that pressure in the forefront of your feet, causing all the bunions. But I'm not proud of it, Owen. I got bunions. So on that note, let's go to the person for whatever's on sale because I'm that person too. I love a good deal. I'm not going to lie about it. Fun fact.
Yeah, it's hard not to, where it's like, hey, what are these $20 stickered shoes right here? Look good. Let's throw them on. Or it's also easy to just save a buck or two. But even more realistically, when you are looking at quality footwear these days, it's just a big investment, and they can cost 100 up closer to $200 now. I've seen for good footwear. So it is a lot more convenient to grab what's on sale and just kind of go with that and make it work. So you're definitely a practical person if you're grabbing what's on sale. You don't like to overthink things and you're focused on value, and there's nothing wrong with that. But just us being Orange Insoles, we want to make sure you're as comfortable as possible too, and think about maybe upgrading your shoes where possible. Whether that's even just like, hey, maybe I get really good work shoes and then all my other shoes I just buy off the sales rack. Or maybe I look at adding an insole so I at least know they're better supported and that sort of thing. But it is so easy to just grab what's on sale and make it work.
This is a question I don't know the answer to. Your sister would know because she's a thrift shopper. But when you thrift shop, are there good shoes in thrift shopping? Is it people are giving because their shoes are so beat up and they're done, they just got a new pair and they're giving those away to
Well, I think
thrift shop?
they're only gonna put a certain quality on the rack, right? So if they look, worn and that sort of thing, they probably wouldn't even put them on the rack. But
Okay. I don't know. I
um,
never thrift shopped shoes, but I know thrift shopping is so hot right now. I bring that up. If you're someone who's whatever's on sale, can you imagine the deal you'd get at a thrift shop if you could find something, or even finding the shoe to work in the yard because you don't want to wear your $200 shoe, but you still want a good shoe to support you and for yard work? But I was just curious. I did not know the answer to that question. Was just like, was a thought, but
maybe we'll have to check it out and report back or even make a little mini video.
I will tell you this one last story on whatever is on sale. When I was in fourth grade, I wanted Nike shoes so bad. And I thought I literally had found the white with the red swoosh. A swoosh was in my day. Okay. I'm dating myself. Okay. Yes, I'm old. Anyway, there was a swoosh and I found him at the store. And my mom said, yes, I could get him for my birthday. I couldn't believe it. I was like, we can afford those. This is amazing. Well, I didn't realize the swoosh was upside down. It was a
Uh,
cheaper brand who had the thing. Oh, darn it. And I didn't learn until I went to school and kids were like, "Something was different with your shoe." I'm like, "Dang it." Anyway, it was cost efficient. I almost got it. Dang it.
happens to the best of us. But
I know. Anyway, so
just to wrap up, there isn't one perfect shoe personality per se. There's different jobs, different activities, different stages of life. Everyone has different requirements, even just based on the shape of your foot. So it's not always about finding the perfect shoe, but maybe just considering like, hey, with my footwear and what I'm wearing, is there anything I can do to help improve them, whether it's with insoles or getting new ones more often, or even just shopping for that one pair of specifically comfortable shoes and splurging on them, whatever it may be. So choose the
so
shoes you
wrapping up,
love.
Owen, though, what is your shoes? Which one are you in here? Are you a little bit of everything?
So I actually don't fit any of these, if I'm being honest, which I know is hard to believe. I guess technically I'd be the comfort shoe person, but I have such a wide foot that I just have to wear what fits. So I have certain brands I know that are wider and fit better on my foot, but I just have to stick with those brands and not sacrifice, because otherwise like I'm literally going to be trying to squeeze my foot into certain shoes. Like there are some running brands, for example, when I worked at the shoe store or worked at Playmakers, like I just knew that even their extra wides like weren't gonna fit my foot.
Well,
So
and
that's
your
where I
dad's yeah, and your dad's a 16. Same situation, right? Like some people just have these guardrails they have to follow to to pick one of these. I was just curious at the end here, just wondering what now that I think through all this, and the first thing we thought about in the beginning is what personality would that person be? But you are comfort a little bit. You like your Birkenstocks.
yeah, I have my EVA Birkenstocks, but I think even like the normal Birkenstocks are too narrow for me. Like the EVA gives more, so
Yeah.
it's a more workable solution. So not to put a damper on things, but I'm a really tough archetype that's like not super fun to be in. So maybe I should just switch it up and prioritize fashion and say you only live once and go from there. So
Well, I wish I could pick a category. I pick the category of the shoes your dad brings home for me. So whenever we get a new shoe line or a next like the next 2027 something. He's bringing it home and like, try this out. Tell me what you think. So I feel like half my shoes are not things I ever get to pick. It's whatever was brought home. Like literally 3 pairs this week. I have to test out and
You're the experiment.
exactly. Exactly. So, but this was fun, Owen. I like this idea. This was a fun topic to talk about personalities with the shoes and the type of person. It's just a different angle.
Absolutely. Hopefully, our audience enjoyed it as well. If you guys have any topics you would like to see us talk about, let us know. Like, comment, subscribe, support any way you feel is necessary. But thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you guys with another episode of Orange Juice.